뭐야 이게? 뭐야?
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you.
아,
And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
뭐야? 바로 시작하는 거야? 아, 잠시만요. 마우스 감 너무 빨라요. 아, 이렇게 하자. 아, Shift 누르니까 이렇게 줌되고.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
또 집에 11살까지 살았지만 집에 있는 방들 중에서 절반 들어가지 못했다. 우리 집 모형?
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
마우스로 이렇게 움직이기 좀 신기하네. 이것이
I had
패드
my
지원?
brother Lewis's funeral.
패드 지원. 와우.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
일로 가는 건가? 여기는 뭐예요? 왜 길이 두 갈래 길이지? 지금 패드로 하는 중. 아, 잠깐만. 단축키 좀 볼게요.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
운전이요? 운전할 수 있는 길이 아닌데? 시승! 소리 크기 괜찮죠, 여러분?
The truth is,
패드가 좀
even
얼
after I
어지러울 수
inherited
있어.
the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
아니, 집이 왜 이래?
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
꿈에 나온 그 모습? 이거 공포인가요?
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
아니, 뭔 집이 이렇게 생겼어? 말이 돼?
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly.
나 이거 공포 게임 중에 그
I was afraid of the house.
굿 네이버인가? 그 게임이랑 똑같은데? 집 디자인이? 이거 어떻게 쓰냐? 아,
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
잠겨 있는데?
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Waiting for me. 어떻게 들어가지? 어이? 뒷문. 아, 대구멍으로?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. The power had been turned off the night we left.
물은 안 들어오고.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
오, 집 좋은데.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we
중식.
had Chinese a lot.
이게 딱 서양 중식 맨날 이런 컵에 먹던데 이거 맛있나? 무슨 맛일지 되게 궁금하고. 맨날 영화 같은 데
Nothing in the house
보면은
looked abnormal.
서양
It was just
중식은 항상
too much of
저런
it,
컵에다가.
like a smile with too many teeth. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then
길거리에서.
Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
오잉 여기?
My grandpa Sam spent 7 years
뭐야,
sharing a
밖에서
room
안이
with
왜
his dead
보여?
brother.
안에서 밖이 보여야 되는 거 아니야? 밧줄 같은 게 연결돼 있네요. 뭐 본드로 친 건가? 뭐야? 닫은 거 같은데? 본드로 문을 접착... 어? 여기도 있네?
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
잠긴 방. 여기는 안 돼 있어요. 핀치.
The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
아니 다 잠겨 있어. 문 열어? 들어가야 되지.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my
월터
mom sometimes
종조
regretted not
할아버지.
sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
이 열쇠인가? 이 열쇠다.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
뭐야?
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
다락방으로 들어왔다.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading
나보다
this,
먼저 왔다.
maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door.
이 가족의 비밀이 무엇인지.
Just like I had no idea where all this was.
어떤 일이
gonna
있었던
lead.
거지? 살인 사건?
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
몰리 핀치.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I
사라진다고?
wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind.
아니? 이걸 왜 먹어? 아니 여기 똥 있는데? 아이씨 이걸 왜 먹어?
I
크로스토퍼
thought about eating Christopher, but I
먹을
held
생각을
back.
했다고? 아니 정상적인 가족이 아닌 것 같은데요 이거? 물도
I
마셔?
kept eating and eating.
아! 치약을 먹어? 아 이거 맛있긴 하지 이거 초콜릿 맛. 어으!
I ate a lot of things that night.
이거 먹어도 되는 거야 이거? 장식 아니야? 새 들어왔나 보다.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her,
여기 있어요.
and suddenly,
엥?
I was a cat.
What the heck? What the heck?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
나 악. 골골댄다.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
엄마랑 아빠인가 본데요?
I jumped and I almost got her.
새 먹어버려. 새 먹어.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up,
아이고.
and suddenly I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
띠용띠용 김띠용 사건. 뭐야 이거? 꿈인 것 같은데.
Rabbits.
Rabbit. 됐죠? 또 있다.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my
어우야.
talons.
어우. 통째로
I
먹어?
swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then
그걸
I
그냥
flew
먹네.
off to find something bigger.
근거 시슴 없나 시슴? 시슴.
A mama rabbit.
엄마 토끼. 착.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
질식하기 시작했다. 너무 커가지고. 아이고 못 삼켜요. 너무 커서.
I was a shark.
띠용. 띠용.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
배고프다. 나는 상어다. 안 내려가. 아 이렇게 내리는 거. 일로 와.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
물개. 냠냠.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
어우 맛이 너무 좋았어. 진짜 좋았어. 어디 갔어 근데? 저기 있다. 냄새가 난다. 피 냄새가.
I grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water.
엥?
When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
엥? 띠용? 문어인가? 나 지금 문어인가? 뭐야 이거? 띠용 띠용. 장어야?
I was a monster, and I
괴물?
saw people everywhere.
어우 소리 봐. 어우.
I was big, and I moved real quiet.
사람 먹어? 냠냠냠. 띠용. 무슨 게임이야 이거?
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
멈출 수 없지. 사람 있다. 취한 사람이 있다. 어떻게 해야 될까? 냠냠냠. 염염염염.
After the last passenger, I
염염염염.
was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
좋은 냄새 날 것 같지가 않은데? 이용? 연기? 어우 시점. 시점 불편스. 잠깐 어떻게 움직이는? 됐다.
I got closer and closer.
이용? 애기 방? 내 방 아니야 여기?
All my stomach started growling,
이용.
and suddenly I was me again. I
뭐야
held my breath for a long time,
꿈꿨던 것 같은데?
but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep, but it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
소리 왜요?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
가계부구나. 이거 가족 에디스가 나고 가족의 비밀을 알러 왔네. 혼자 살아남았는데 다 죽었는데? 여동생은 아니고 옛날 사람인데 몰리 37년 나는 1999년생. 몰리는 37년생. 가족의 비밀을 알러
I grew up
돌아온 것
looking at
같아.
Molly's room through the peephole.
뭐야 잠깐만. 그
Molly's
장 안에
gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
이 시체 아니야? 아니구나. 휴지였네.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
몰리의 일부 남아있는 느낌이 들었다. 몰리 적혀있고 못 나가네? 어디로 가야 되지? 잠겨있을까요 또? 열려있어요.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
와,
Edie would have, but mom didn't like.
여기가 엄마 방 아니었나? 부모님 방?
Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
고양이
I
이름을
spent a
몰리로
lot of
지었대.
time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
그렇지. 몰리한 이 에디스한테는 할머니 할아버지구나.
Edie gave
증조
a big
할머니.
interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
그런 거 같은데요. 아무도 안 사는.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
봐? 옛날 비디오. 뭐야 이건?
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
이 사진 보고 그린 거구나. 몰리 손가락도 있다. 에디스, 에디스. 2004년. 이거 내 거 아니야, 이거?
Her room was like a museum. For
아는겨?
500 years, the Finches have been
아,
famous
맞아.
throughout Norway for their
이런 거.
fortune and misfortune.
이런 거 있었지. 저도 이런 거 있었거든요. 다시 보자. 힌트인가? 그치, 버튼 누르면 그림 바뀌고 찰칵찰칵 하면서 사진기 디자인으로도 있었던 것 같은데.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
와 이거
It was a pretty big trace.
이거 보드랍겠는데? 바닥? 왜 이렇게 책을 잠가놓은 게 많아?
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It
오,
isn't
오
in the
뭐야?
cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
아니?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
사진방인가? 아까 그 방이다.
I knew
뭘까?
Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
그거구나. 들어가지 말라고 막아놓는 그거네. 올라가 볼까요?
I guess my grandpa
어,
didn't like history
비밀
more than my mom did.
아지트네. 메모장이
How I Want to Remember My Brother
샘
by Sam
핀치.
Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that
옛날 가족들의 기억을 보는 것 같은데. 저 그네 좀 타거든요. 자, 그네 좀 타보겠습니다.
my brother said
오,
he
이거 좀
died
신기한데?
from another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd
이
never
다리를
do it again.
오른쪽 왼쪽 스틱으로 따로따로.
I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
어지러. 어지러. 어지러.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was
날아가겠는데 이거?
impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
한 바퀴 돌아.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
날아가는 거 아니야 이거?
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
어 뭐야 이러다가 죽은 거야?
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
우와. 와 돌았어요. 와.
The day he made up his mind
Oh.
to fly, and he did.
띠용띠용.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
헬비는 그네 타다가 사망.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
몰리는 너무 배고파서 이것저것 주워 먹다가 사망.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
이거 뭐야? 살인 사건. 오 뭐야 이거? 아직 근데 정확하게 무슨 게임인지 잘은 모르겠는데 이렇게 죽은 것 같긴 하거든요. 이 스토리로 보니까. 와 뭐야?
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
일로 가, 일로 가. 약간 그 도서관인가 보다.
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
밟아라.
Barbara was a child star for
봐봐라.
2 years until America grew out of it.
나이가 이거 봐 44년부터 60년까지만 살았어. 길게 못 살았어. 이거 봐. 16년? 16살밖에 못 살았어?
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
아역 배우 빅풋. 여기 또 방이 아까 그 방이네. 아까 그 방이네. 여기도 아까 봤죠? 이 방도. 몰리. 자, 몰리는 10살밖에 안 됐어. 이것저것
Molly always seemed like a girl I
쭈어
could
먹어가지고.
imagine being friends with if she hadn't died in 1947.
그 형은 몇 살이었지? 얘는 몇 년 살았니? 얘도 11살. 자, 바바라 방에 들어가 봅시다. 가기 전에 2층은 뭘까요?
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
잠갔구나. 여기로 가야겠네요. 그럼 좀 충분히 자죠. 못 자죠? 바바라 방. 빅풋이 인형이 엄청 크게 있네.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
이거 하나만 찍은 거야? 빅풋?
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
3D 안경이다. 어우, 이거 얼마나 오래된 거야 이거. 담배? 뭐야, 담배가 왜 있어? 띠용?
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
바바라는 왜 죽었는데? 바바라 핀치의 놀라운 결말.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise
불운한 가족으로부터 영감받은 무시무시한 이야기.
Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
그래서
Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
여태했다.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was
That's
about
him.
to demonstrate when...
Now
Well.
that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven.
Huh?
He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're
Huh?
right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe.
어.
I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned.
설마.
So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
기어인데 바바라의 기어. 내려갔어요. 어?
She found Rick's crutch and imagined
남자친구의
the
목다리와 핏자국이? 목발과? 헉! 뭐 흔들리고 이게? 헉! 어? 띠용? 띠용?
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
띠용? 띠용?
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
냉장고가?
Oh dear! Rick?
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then
Tion.
act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show.
그래서 왜 죽은 건데?
Hours later,
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there?
어?
Okay, I'm coming up. But if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
그게 또 뭔데? 땅땅따라랑따라라 어이? 따란 따라라 Walter? Are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
용? 뒤에!
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
What? 안 갔어요.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
나가자. 도망가자.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
설마.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
어디로 가는 거야? 용.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
아이고. 아이고.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
어디 갔어?
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was
용?
at the door. She heard whispering.
What?
coming from inside the house.
어?
Dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
응?
Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous.
띠용?
With her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl.
뭐지?
She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story.
팬 비명 소리를 듣고 싶어서 팬들이 죽인 거야?
Music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
어?
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
띠용띠용 김띠용 사건.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
띠용띠용. 아까 오르골이 어디 있지? 거실에 있나? 일로 나가야 되나?
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
오르골 틈에 열쇠가 나오니까 1층에 있죠? 오르골 띠용띠용 띠용 사건. 귀 있는 거 아니야? 귀는 없네. 열쇠 나올 때까지 돌려야 돼요. 그렇지. 띠용띠용. 당구대? 좀 바뀌었다. 바바라, 하긴 바바라는 더 옛날이었으니까.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
냉장고는 그대로 있네?
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
진동이 또 났어.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
용? 너무 어두워요.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter
불
had
켜진다.
gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
이상식량? 지하 벙커 같은데?
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
월터 여기서 지냈네.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
눈부셔. 와.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
여기서 혼자 지낸 거야?
But after a few days, I settled into a routine.
월터는 30살인
That's what kept me sane.
것 같은데요? 목소리가 젊어.
Having a schedule, living for today.
나이가 좀 있네. 황도 복숭아? 이거 맛있지? 엥?
I always
통째로 먹어?
expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you You get used to anything.
진동은 왜 나는 거지? 또 먹어?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
얘는 바바라가 죽는 거 보고 충격 먹어가지고 지하에 들어와서.
And then one day, everything just
그런데 2005년이네.
stopped.
팔 왜 이래?
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting.
진동은 안 나요.
Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
이것만 먹어?
It's been a week now. The
3월
longest
마지막
in
날.
30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
용?
I know it's out there somewhere.
밖에 어딘가 있다.
Whatever killed Barbara
괴물?
and Molly
몰리?
and Calvin.
켈빈?
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
뭐야, 부수고 있어요. 안 보여요.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
나왔다 밖으로.
I'm going to appreciate all of it.
니는 못 돌아보네.
Especially the food.
돌아볼 수 있네. 이렇게 벽 부수고 나온 거야?
I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day.
뭔 집에 기찻길이 있냐?
I can already imagine the sun on my face.
띠용? 아, 진동이 이것 때문에 진동이 나는 거였구나.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my
몇 살
mom
때
never
죽었다?
told me he was down here.
월터 얼마나 살았니? 50. 꽤 엄청 오래 살았네. 53.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
만 알고 있었던 건가요?
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
뭐 책이 이렇게 많아?
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
기생충?
I don't want to make the same
뭐야,
mistakes
뭐
she
쓰레기가
made,
이렇게 많냐?
trying to bury something that's still alive.
후.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two,
우리들 중에 한
I
명
thought
아니
it was
두
time
명?
I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else.
여기 뭐 해골 있는 거 아니야?
But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
뭐야?
Maybe we believed so much in a
떨어져
family
있는데?
curse. We made it real.
월터. 아, 뭐야? 묻어졌네? 저주를 실현시켰다? 띠용? 뭐야, 끊겼는데? 띠용? 뭐야, 어디로 가야 돼 이제? 아, 여긴가? 아니, 뭐야 이건? 의자가 왜 여기
I don't
있지?
know if I should even be writing this.
저거 뭔데? 아니 여기 뭐야?
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
모선 정체가 뭐야 이 가족?
But I thought you should know about your family.
네가 알아야 된다고 생각했다? 나? 나한테 하는 말인가?
And the history you're a part of.
What? 띠용? 뭐라? 이게 아닌가? 아, 둘 남은
To
게
be honest, I feel as
얘랑
lost as
나?
you probably do right now.
뭐야? 나 갈피를 못 잡겠어.
I
그렇지.
think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
뭘 믿었지?
And when you look at the house, had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
광기의 역사, 진짜 광기야. 정상은 아니야? 가족.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
묘지를 먼저 완공한다고? 묘지다.
It's
내
embarrassing for me
묘지
to
있는 거
admit
아니야?
this, but the pet cemetery may be more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
더빌 3발이는 내 것이요. 이거 다 애완동물 묘지네? 뭐야, 다 애완동물이잖아. 동물 왜 이렇게 많이 키웠어?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
스벤이 집을 지었다? 여기가 그 사람 묘지네. 몰리 핀치, 칼빈 핀치, 그네 사다가 돌아가신 분, 스벤, 그 손 잘리신 분, 에디핀치, 월터, 바바라, 나는? 이용?
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but
여기 있나?
for Edie, the past never went away.
뭐야 이거? 이 얘기는 과거가 사라졌. 이용?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
그래서 과거가 고개를 내미는 것을 그녀는 볼 수 있다.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
이전 집. 거기가 옛날 집이야? 이용?
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. The
여기도
older I
묘지가
get,
있다.
the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
부모님 아닌데? 할아버지 할머니 건가 보다. 잠깐만. 뭐가 바뀌었는데요? 아, 옆이구나. 밀턴 핀치,
She lost 2 of
산제이
her
핀치.
brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
엄포라는 거. 너무 심오한데요? 가족사가?
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
띠용? 임신 중이야 지금? 아, 2명 남았다는 게 얘랑 이 애기네. 애기한테 하는 말이었구나. 올라가세요.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
뭐야 곰.
They were both pretty intense.
띠용 김띠용 사건. 사냥꾼이신가?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
찰칵.
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Smile, Dawn. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
어디 있어?
Aw.
어?
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
뭘 찍어보지? 뭘 찍어야 되는 거지? 제가 지금 도종에서 찍고 있는데 뭘 찍어야 되는 거야? 여기 있던 새는 어디다 나갔지? 사람이 없는데?
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
더 안 가지고.
Nothing quite like being
아,
outside.
여기 있다.
Hold still while I take a picture.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
뭐야, 이 평화로운데 되게?
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
한양용
Last
총.
time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
예, 예.
Your grandpa's Fen taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere.
해다.
Dad!
Good
Oh.
eyes, Dawn.
시슴.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I
사냥하나?
Let me get behind you. survive, you'll need to be strong.
와우.
Great shot, Don.
아니 이걸 왜 찍어?
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
여기 있어. 자, 하이.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera.
뭐야?
Not to think about.
Dad!
어? 이게 쌤의 마지막?
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
나이가 꽤 있어 보이는데? 셋.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
있습니다. 이용? 뭐고?
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
에디 방인가 여기? 그레고리. 애기인데? 1살. 얘는 어쩌다 죽었는데?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest
뭐야?
of us don't.
어떻게 움직이냐 이거? 이요? 움직여야지 소리가 나요. 멈추면은? 뭐야? 응?
Watching over Gregory, it's time to. Hold on, sweetie.
띠용?
Hello? Sam, I told
이게
you.
움직이는데 오 뭐야? 초능력 갖고 있나 얘? 뭐야?
I wonder what he saw.
What the heck? 띠용띠용. 아 점프를 할 수 있네? 띠용.
Reminded me so much of Calvin,
와우.
lost in his imagination.
아 상상하는 건가?
Whatever it
띠용.
was he saw, it sure made him happy.
띠용. 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 따라단딴 따라라라라 따란딴. 뭐야 저 글자 뭐야? 응? 뒤집었어요 고래.
I know how silly it sounds.
거품 목욕.
But I worried about a
거품 목욕 할래.
too happy. But I could feel her slipping away.
아 설마 거품 목욕에
Gregory?
I know you did everything you could.
까비.
Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
전화를 하지 않았더라면?
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
아 설마 물이 너무 차가지고.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
이거 상상이 아니라는 거잖아.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory.
개구리가
About
됐다.
everything.
욕조에서 수영하고 있어요.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
사고가 네 잘못은 아니라는 거야.
I'm sure he's happy.
그레고리는 행복할 거야.
And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
그레고리. 개구리 애기. 몇 명 남은 거죠, 이제? 어라? 그레고리 캐비넷? 구스? 거스?
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
13살. 거스.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us,
연날린다.
at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd
어,
be dead
잠깐만.
before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart,
그
flew his
뭐지?
kite and bottled up the storm inside
거스는
his
머리
heart.
떨어져서.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her,
와, 나 어렸을 때 연날리기 되게 잘했었는데. 결혼한 얘기 연바라 연바라. 아니 이게 저거 봐 토템 뭐야 이거 이 정상이 아니라니까 여기. 일로 가야 되나?
when the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
사춘기네 거스. 사춘기 시계 왔네.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
날씨가 안 좋아졌어요 갑자기.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature
띠용.
might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
폭풍을 이끄는 건가 거스? 띠용띠용 김띠용 사건.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry.
설마.
But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
설마. 어라?
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day.
뭐야 이거?
Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
폭풍에 사고 난 거야?
she never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
몇 명 남은 거야? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 5명 남았네. 띠용띠용. 얘는 왜 없어? 던. 띠용?
My mom
22주인데
moved up to the
괜찮?
loft after her brother brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
암벽 등반까지? 굳이 이번 done.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
산제이. 인도? 인도로 유학 간 거야?
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
홀리 바이블? 어디로 가야 되죠 이제? 안 켜지지? 안 되고. 띠용 띠용. 어디로 가야 되지? 위에 못 본 게 있을까? 다시 가보자. 캐비넷이요? 한번 볼까? 흰색 표시가 떠야 되거든요. 되는 것 같아요. 위에 뭘 놓친 게 있나? 여기 있네.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
이거 엄마야? Done? Fly to India. 그런 거야?
Lewis was born a year later.
그러면 산제이? 종교 모시갱. 엄마여서 그 말하는 거구나. 산제이가 그럼 아빠? 뭐야, 어떻게 가? 가지는데? 가진다. 와, 이거 박살이 났는데?
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Done.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back and
밀턴.
to see kids in the house again.
에디스.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
에디?
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
종말이 시작됐다고? 오딘 핀 할아버지잖아. 빔 프로젝트가 설정돼 있네. 이거도 있고. 가봅시다. 밀턴.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
92년 안 죽었고요. 그림 잘 그리는데? 와 뭐야 이거 미대생인가? 와 뭐야
Milton
Milton
Finch in The Magic
Magic.
Paintbrush.
매직 페인트브러쉬. 아 용 문? 와 진짜 마법의 붓인데? 뭐야 2003년
was 4 when Milton disappeared.
아 사라졌구나. 마법의 붓 어디 있어? 킹법의 붓 밑에 있나?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
오빠 맞네. 주인공 내 오빠네요. 킹법의 붓 어디있지? 나가야 되나?
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
없네. 아, 또 올라가는 길이 또 있네. 야, 이거 구성을 잘했네. 플레이어가 딱 진행할 수 있는 길로 가게끔 유도를 잘해놨네.
Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
이번엔 누구야? 루이스.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room.
루이스.
Except Lewis.
여기도 뭐 정상은 아니구만. 88년부터 2010년까지. 벤데 배? 와. 뭐야, 물담배 아니야 이거?
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
루이스 핀치. 중동지역에서 많이 하는 거 아닌가?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
홍조림 공장.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions,
불안한데?
I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
뭐야, 멀티태스킹 해야 돼요. 왼쪽 스틱으로 조작하고 오른쪽 스틱으로 참치 머리 자르고. 이거 한눈 팔다가 사고 나는 거 아니야 이거? 자, 오른손 법칙 가겠습니다. 오른손 법칙.
Then something moved. Bats.
박쥐?
And toads.
법이? 딴 생각하고 있네.
And things that have not names.
뭐야 이거? 아꾸마? 이름 없는 것들?
He knew it was all in his head.
비용? 뭐야 이거? 비용?
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
뭐야? 오 갑자기 컷터뷰로 바뀌었어요.
Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee.
모범적인 직원.
Methodical, tireless, focused.
집중하여 일한다고? 자기만의 세상에
A
빠져
whole new
있는데
Lewis. So I let him go on.
내버려뒀다.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
점점 이 상상이 커지고 있어요. 화면이.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
루이스토피아라는 이름 붙인 도시에
On the edge of a city he named Lewis.
잠자리에 새 친구를 사귀었다. 저기.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. He
자기만의
made musicians.
그걸 펼치고 있는 건가?
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
비용?
He was always humming.
정신 차려. 이래야 돼.
Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
별당기세는
Then one day
확실했다.
it struck him.
문득 생각이 들었다. 설마?
All the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
원하는 뭐든 할 수 있다는 생각. 점점 불안한데.
He held an election for mayor.
시장 선거에 나갔다고?
And he won.
오.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
뭐야? 너무 커졌는데?
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
세인트 루이스. 다 루이스야.
He started drifting away from our reality.
현실에서 멀어져 가기 시작했다.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
뭐야? 엄마 왔네. 엄마가 왔는데도 자기만의 세계에 빠져버렸어요. 이거 설마 약 때문에 그런가?
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
멋있는 아름다운 왕자.
beautiful prince.
남자 아니야? 루이스? 성별은 안 나왔었나?
The prince was on his own quest for
나선 것은 사악한 벨. The evil
sinister
snake.
serpents.
와우. 갑자기 모험.
He followed the sound of his
소리를 쫓아갔다. 그 소리는 은색 하프 소리.
silver harp.
실버 하프. 사이렌 나오는 거 아니겠지?
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the
태양의
moon.
등족.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
와 뭐야? 상상이.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
지금 이거 거의 뭐 반복 동작하면서 멍 때리는 거거든요. 어떻게 보면 굉장히 위험한.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him.
여기 엄마 와
The
있는데
real Lewis was not the one chopping
엄마가 온 것도 모르고
but the
지금
one
자기만의
climbing
세계에
the
빠져
steps
있어.
of the Golden Palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
상상력이 대단하네. 어라? 퇴근하나? 뭐야? 문은 똑같은데? 띠용띠용.
He began to forget the world we know.
우리의 세계를 잊기 시작했다.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
생각하기 싫었던 것입니다. 설마?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
핀치. 얘 루이스잖아. 루이스? 뭐니 루이스? 아닌가? 설마.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
이거 창문이 아닐 텐데.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
홀리.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
몰리다. 고양이 몰리. 이것도 상상인 거죠. 실제로 걷고 있으면서 지금.
Holding his crown.
그의 왕자가 기다리고 있었다고?
There was only one thing left to do.
한 가지. 설마. 아! 와.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
아니. 루이스.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
못 만났어? 아, 너도 만날 수 있음. 그렇네. 배가 좀 나왔네 지금. 게임기다.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
어디로 가야 되지? 얘 내 방인가?
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
내 방인가 이제?
I wish we'd stayed.
포장용 저거잖아 이거.
But I understand why we left.
여기 있으니까 막 자꾸 불행한 일이 생겨서 나가는 건가?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
건가? 에디스가 나고 에디스가 한 명이 더 있어. 에디도 저 밑에 있네. 에디 아직 안 봤는데?
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
볼 수 없다.
Maybe I
에디스
should have
이게 내
come
방인데 여기는 근데. 에디스 이게 세대가 갈수록 방이
But it had to end
높은
one
데에다가
way or
짓네.
another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
에디스 이털 나의 이야기는 과연? 얘 쓰는
That
건가?
whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not
할머니네.
leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
선물이 있다고요?
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
야, 뭔 비밀 통로가 이렇게 많냐 집에? 왜 안 들어가져요?
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
에디스핀치 할머니 이야기.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way
조수가 뭐야?
It was the first and last time I
아,
ever
그
saw
조수 간만에
the
차
house
조수구나.
aground.
물이
There'd been an
빠졌네.
earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
아이고. 쭉 가면 되겠지 뭐.
I got turned around.
띠용? 갑자기 없던 게 생겼다? 이거 물 들어오면 어떻게 해 다시?
For For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
띠용?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
사막 어딨어? 있다.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
왔다.
Or maybe I came back to
아이고
them.
들어가십시오. 그럼 되십시오.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
에리.
The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
벤이 데리러 왔지만 할머니는 안
After
계셨어.
that, we moved around a lot.
웨이.
We both tried to make the best of it.
왜? 에이.
A few years went by.
민들레. 후. 불어. 안 불어. 이 흔들어야 되나? 후.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
안돼?
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
가셨네.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
어쩌다가 임신한
I'm
거지?
still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This
나가는
dinner was
건가?
supposed to be for you,
이거 애기인가 설마?
but now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all.
에디스핀치. 띠용? 여기도 여기 왔네. 설마 끝은 아니겠지? 띠용? 이거 엔딩 크레딧 같은데요? 제작자들 애기 사진인데? 저장 중. 아직 뭐가 더 있나 본데? 저장하는 거 보니까. 동양 사람 같은데? 토마스 후인. 애기 낳고 누운 건가, 엄마는? 아니, 그래서 이 가족의 비밀이 뭐야? 결국 이런 일이 왜 일어나는 건데? 왜 오래 못 사는 거지? 근데 유전치고는 사고사가 되게 많은데? 아니, 이렇게 끝난다고? 아, 그렇긴 하네. 다들 헛것 약간 그런 쪽으로 있어가지고 사고가 난 거잖아. 그레고리도 그렇게 또 사고 난 거고. 근데 되게 짧다, 게임이. 3-4시간 아니었나? 끝이 아닌가? 스페셜 땡스까지 나오는데? 에디, 루이스, The End? 진짜로? 이야기 다시 하기? 아, 각자의 이야기를 다시 볼 수 있네? 근데 이거 다 봤던 건데? 오딘은 안 봤는데? 오딘 봤나? 오딘은 왜 안 그렸어? 오딘 봤나? 할아버지? 아, 봤네.
Her room was like a museum.
아,
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune
여기서
and misfortune.
기다려서 봐야 되는데 내가 안 보고 넘어갔구나 여기. 아 이렇게 보는 거였네.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse.
안 보고
His wife
넘어갔었네.
Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
저기 옛날 집인가 본데.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
아 오딘이 증조 할아버지네.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
잠깐만. 불운으로 유명하다고 하네요. 저주로부터 탈출하기 위해서 가족을 데리고 집을 가지고 바다로 떠났대. 집이 전복되고 이 지금 있는 집으로 와가지고 살았다. 집을 들고 바다로 떠나는 게 말이 돼? 유명한 가문이네. 500년 동안이라고 하니까. 노르웨이 게임인가 이거? 이거 약간 그건가? 노르웨이에서 유명한 그런 건가? 핀치 이야기?
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
모든 것의 끝 하면서 이제 진짜로 끝났습니다. 뭐죠? 좋습니다.